So no.
He was speaking with him.
Close your eyes. Close your eyes and say to Jesus, my Lord and my God.
Why are you inserting Jesus
Say
in the
it.
text?
Say it.
I'm closing my eyes. My Lord, my God. Okay.
Who'd you say that to?
No, he was talking to Jesus. He didn't say
No.
no.
Who did you just say it to?
To God.
That was legitness. Yeah, it was. Huh?
Give me the reason as to why I should be Muslim. Like, what's the evidence?
Because Islam is a continuation of the prophets before.
Can you please prove
Islam
that?
preached
Okay.
monotheism.
Okay. We'll take one claim at a time. Who is the prophet from before Muhammad? What's the prophet right before Muhammad?
Isa.
Okay. Can you show me that Jesus is in line with Muhammad? Give me the reliable teachings of Jesus.
Yes, there is.
Give me the reliable, uncorrupted teachings of Jesus, so that I can see if Jesus's message aligns with Muhammad's message.
I will do one better. I will give you a teaching of Jesus from your book where he aligns with Islam.
Look, I want you to prove the claim. So when you say that the reason as to why I should be Muslim is because Muhammad is in continuation with the previous prophets, and the prophet that's right previous to Muhammad is Jesus, then this is a claim that can be proven for both Christians and Muslims. So what text do you go to as a Muslim that is reliable to prove this claim?
Well, here's the thing. The Bible is a historical document, so we can go to the Bible as a historical document to check its history, you know? You can check it, you can examine it.
Okay, it's a historical document, so we're not just going to cherry pick. We're going to look at the entirety of the historical document that we're going to.
Yes, we can do that. Yes, in multiple verses, Jesus says he worshipped the one true God. He says God is the Father is the only God. He worshipped God. These
can you pull up a verse? Like, what verse are you?
There is one that says, "They may know you, the only true God,
and Jesus Christ whom you have sent."
Yes, exactly.
Oh, you're talking about that one book where it says that Jesus is God and that he died and that he rose from the dead.
Example, yes, of course. I'm talking about that one book. Yes, why not?
Okay, so in that book that you're appealing to show that Muhammad's in continuity, that book Jesus says that he
to your sources.
In that book, Jesus says that he's God. Jesus says that he died. Jesus said that he rose again.
Show me where he says he is God.
I'm gonna just show you all three back to back. All three. Then he said to Thomas, "Bring your fingers here and see my hands, and put your hand here and put it into my side. Do not be unbelieving, but believing." Thomas answered him and said to him, "My Lord and my God." Calls him God. Jesus says,
"No, not calling him. No, he didn't call Jesus. You are my Lord. You are my God." Yes, he truly believed that Jesus is sent from God. He says, "Oh, my Lord, my God."
The Greek says "hakiriasmu kai hateasmu," which literally translates to "the Lord of me and the God of me."
It's the same. It's the same thing.
That's not the same thing. And he's saying this to who is he saying it to?
He didn't say you are my God, my Lord. Did he say that?
Yes, he says the Lord of me, you're the Lord of me and the God of me.
Where is you are?
It's there in the Greek. That's what he's saying. And he's saying it
in the Greek. It doesn't
who is he saying it to?
He's saying to him, he's not saying you are my Lord, my God.
Okay, he's saying it to who?
He didn't say you are my.
Who is he saying it to?
He's speaking with Jesus. He's talking to Jesus.
Okay, he says to Jesus what?
My God, my Lord, my God.
Okay,
say
here.
You are my Lord, my God.
Cool. I want you to close your eyes, because this isn't calling Jesus God, right? I want you to close your eyes. Think about Jesus. Address what you say to Jesus and say, "Jesus, my Lord, my God." Say that.
He didn't say Jesus, my Lord, my God.
He's saying it to him. He's saying it to him.
No.
So no. Close your eyes and say to Jesus, "My Lord and my God."
Why are you inserting Jesus in the text?
Say it.
I'm closing my eyes. My Lord, my God. Okay.
Who'd you say that to?
No, he was talking to Jesus. He didn't say
No. Who did you just say it to?
To God.
No. I want you to say it to Jesus.
To you. I am talking with you.
No,
I am talking to you.
Say it to Jesus right now. Say.
Okay, I do one better.
That's why.
Now, and I am blessing God.
That's why I want you to say his name. Say Jesus, my Lord and my God. Say his name.
He didn't say his name, did he? He didn't
say his name. Say his name. Say it.
He didn't say his name.
Say it. Close your eyes. Say, because he has Jesus in front of him. You don't have Jesus in front of you.
In front of me. I'm talking to God. No.
Look, I'll do it. I'll do it first. Jesus, my Lord and my God.
You are inserting Jesus in the text. It is not there.
He's right there. That's what it says.
No. You are right there. I'm not talking to you.
Okay, here. Say my Lord and my God, and when I ask who you say it to, just say that you said it to Jesus. Say it.
Why? He didn't say it to Jesus. Why?
What do you mean he didn't say it? What do you mean he didn't say it to Jesus? Who did he say it to?
Am I not talking to you? Am I not talking to you right now?
Who did he say it to?
Okay, stop. Okay. Am I not talking to you right now?
Who did he say it to?
Am I not talking to you right now?
Who did he say it to?
Okay, I'm talking to you right now, and I say,
brother,
my God,
brother, listen.
Am I addressing you as God or
when
God?
It says Thomas answered and said to him, who's the to him?
Okay, I'm talking to you, and I'm
not asking who you're talking to, bro. I'm not asking who you're talking to. I'm asking who was Thomas talking to.
Understand English, bro? You should understand English more than me, no?
Who was Thomas talking to?
He was talking to Jesus, but he is not addressing Jesus.
So, cool. He was talking to Jesus, but not addressing Jesus.
Yes.
I tell you what, bro. The Shahada has done more damage to the society than crack in the 80s, bro. I promise you. If we go stat by stat, body for body, the Shahada has done more damage to the community than crack in the 80s. Man, I ain't seen nothing like this. I haven't seen work like this. This is an insane amount of sorcery. Wicked. Satan pulled out the Avada Kedavra. Like he went all in. He went all in, bro. Look, man, sometimes you just gotta pay respect this dude, bro. He got him. He got him down pat. This is insanity. I haven't seen nothing like this, bro. He was talking to him, but he wasn't talking to him, bro. He was talking to him, he just wasn't talking to him. Crack in the 80s.
Hey, man, good evening. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Look, man, I just request up because earlier you were chatting with someone, and you you were speaking my jam when you were trying to talk about propositional logic and P and not P. And I just wanted to ask you if you could explain to me what you think that contradiction was, if you could be so kind.
Yeah, I think I wrote it out. That it was the case that...
I missed the first half of it. I saw the second half. I saw you were writing.
Yeah, so that the Qur'an very clearly states that no person will bear the burdens of another person. And at the same time, it affirms that you will bear the burdens of another person.
Can you show me where it affirms that you will bear the burden of another person in the Qur'an?
Yeah.
Because what I'm going to hopefully point out, because what I've heard from you before, you seem fair.
It says it right here. In chapter 16, verse 25, as well as in chapter 29. It says it twice.
I got you. So can you scroll up, by the way, to the Arabic? And because what I'm going to encourage any listener, myself, to do, that if we're going to make an internal critique and if we're going to reference, because those verses right there, those are translations, which are good translations, by the way. I'm not going to go say it's a bad translation. But those translations, they are referring to tafsir. I'm going to give you the exact translation because you can actually see the Arabic even if you don't read it. Right? That first word, liyahmilu, which means they will carry, awzarahum. Actually, this is not even the verse. This is saying the same thing, but this is actually, awzaruhum kamila yawm al-qiyamah wa min awzari alladhina yudillunahum bighayri ilm. Actually, no, this is not the verse I was thinking about. So now, can you go to the translation?
Just translate it real quick.
No. I want to go see what they said.
No. Translate it. Go ahead, because you're good. You're good at this. What does it say?
No, I'm not. I'm not good at it. I actually thought you were referring to another verse because I was discussing this with a Christian the other day,
That's
and he was
interesting.
pulling up another
Can
verse
you-
which I was familiar with the translation.
Fantastic. Can you tell me?
The starting word is the same. لِيَحْمِلُوا.
Can you
that they will
can you
carry
translate that?
أَوْزَارَهُم.
Mm-hmm.
And that is awzar, burdens is plural. Whom
So they will
their
carry
burdens.
Kamila.
Kamila.
burdens.
Kamila is like completely, entirely.
Entire-
Yawm al-Qiyamah, the day of judgment.
On the day of judgment. Okay.
Wamin, and from
Mhm.
awzari alladhina, and from the burdens of those
Mhm.
yudillunahum bighayri ilm, that they have misguided them without knowledge.
So
Correct?
in full sentence, what does it say?
Mind you, I'm not an expert here. Am I saying that close enough to what the verse says?
So what it says here is, let them bear their burdens in full on the day of judgment, as well
I'm proud of
as
myself.
some of the burdens of those whom they misled without knowledge.
Sure. Okay, well, you know what? Good for you for using this verse as opposed to the verse that was used the other day. Because I was going to go correct you. No, I'm not talking about your life. Are you familiar?
No. This is a
familiar with the other common verse that was
place
used?
for a compliment, because you're a Muslim. You're saying that, okay, I don't really have an answer for this verse where it does affirm that people are going to carry other people's
that's not
burdens.
true. It's not true that I don't have an
Okay,
answer.
so then do you want to solve the contradiction?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's not a contradiction because if you're going to make, as I said, an internal critique, respectfully, that you would have to grant us what our paradigm says on this, not looking at something on its maybe what you appear to be face value.
What does that have to do with it being a contradiction or not?
Well, because you have to go look at what is the actual meaning of that verse and what scholars have said is the meaning of that verse. And so, I think the person made a point earlier. I'm pausing, so I'm trying to read your face. If you don't like what I'm saying, I'll pause.
Brother, can you solve the contradiction?
Well, there is no contradiction.
You're
saying assert as much.
Here, does a verse say that no person will bear the burdens of another person?
That is correct.
Okay. Does this verse say that you will bear your burdens in full, so all of your burdens, as well as other burdens along with your own?
If you are intending this verse, if your interpretation of what you're reading in this verse is that you are taking from that person's burdens and you are bearing a portion of those burdens that person had, which they are no longer bearing, no, that is not what this verse teaches.
What is it?
What this verse teaches, according to Islamic scholarship,
like who?
Which is related to the other verse, because the other verse it says "athqalahum," which is not verses.
Like who?
But what this verse, what scholars teach on this verse, is if you were to misguide someone to go do something that was wrong, and they commit some major sin, they're going to have the burden of that sin. You are not going to bear the burden of that sin. However, you do bear the burden of having guided them to a sin. And the same thing also is true for Islam. I'm not sure.
What scholar are you appealing to? Go ahead.
This is the Sunni teaching on this. And let me just finish this point real quick.
Which scholar are you appealing to?
You pick your Sunni Islamic scholars, the mainstream Sunni Islamic position on this. But for clarity, I want to just land at this point. If that's even taught from the Islamic paradigm regarding good deeds, if I do a good deed and I encourage you to do that, and I encourage you to do that same good deed, and you go do it, you will get reward for that good deed, and I will get reward for having tried to encourage you to do that good deed.
Okay, so
anyway, that's all I wanted to share. So that's what the verse means.
Did you just say all of that to say that you do bear other people's burdens?
No, if your understanding is that we are reducing their burden and then we are bearing some of their burden on their behalf, that is not what Islam teaches. Respectfully, it's not.
Okay, so do you want me to just show you what the scholars actually say?
I know what they say on it.
Like who?
What scholar do you think you want to show me?
Ibn Kathir.
Show me Ibn Kathir.
What does Ibn Kathir say?
I don't have that in front of me. You said you wanted to show it to me.
I said, do you want me to show you? You said, I know what the scholars say. What does the scholar say?
No, I did not. You misheard me. Perhaps there's a connection.
Did he?
I know what scholars in general say. I don't know what. One second. I don't know what Ibn Kathir states. You're trying to put in my mouth. You're trying to put in my mouth that I know what Ibn Kathir states.
We will ask.
I don't know what Ibn Kathir states.
Chat, did he say that he knows what the
not.
scholars say? Okay, so you want me to show you what the scholars actually say?
I know what they say on it. I know what they say on it. I know what they say on it. In general, I know what the scholars say.
He said that.
I'm saying that right now. Can you hear clearly?
He's bugging. English, right? Yes, you did.
Okay.
Do you want me to play?
Now,
do you want me to
asking me verbatim to tell you what Ibn Kathir states? I don't know it. So you said you could show it to me. So be so kind and show it.
Yeah, I can. So
yeah,
he says straight up exactly what you said, that it's not the case, that they're going to carry some of the burdens of their sins, right? So it says they will bear their own burdens in full on the day of resurrection, and also some of the burdens of those whom they misled, meaning we decreed that they would say that, so they will carry the burden of their own sins and some of the burdens of those who follow them and agree with them.
That is correct, and that goes back to the exact meaning of what I said. That they
so they're going to carry other people's burdens.
Sin, no, not taking away from that other person's burden, but they will carry the burden of having guided. Well, why is that confusing?
So they're going to.
Do I need to use a point system to make it easier? If you did a sin that's worth 800 points, and I guided you to do that sin, I am going to receive sin for having guided it to you, according to Islam. But the sin that I receive for having guided that to you, the burden that I carry, is not coming from your 800 points of burden.
So, okay, so you're saying on the day of judgment that you're going to carry your burdens and some of your burdens.
That's actually another verse that says that. It says, أَثْقَالَهُمْ وَأَثْقَالًا مَعَ أَثْقَالِهِمْ. That's the other verse that's usually mentioned, which literally says that they will carry their own burdens and burdens along with their burdens, referring to the burden of having misguided someone. Bro, for clarity, man, look, there's a lot of things we can disagree on respectfully, but I'm just telling you, this is not something that
so if I show you, if there was a case where, let's say for instance, I commit a sin, like I commit an unaliving, right? And a share of my sin, of the crime that I committed, is placed on somebody else. Does that show that what the Quran means here is actually a contradiction?
It depends if that other person was guiding you towards doing that initial crime.
When the person needs to be guiding you towards that initial crime, does that mean that that person needs to actively be telling you to do that crime?
No.
Okay. It doesn't mean that?
I mean, so if you ran an entire criminal enterprise and you had murderers unalivers under your watch, and you controlled all of them and told them what to go do.
Wait. But you're saying, but you're saying that I controlled all of them, which means that I am actively influencing them in their sin. I'm saying that this person has no contact with the person who does the crime. I'm
assuming you're referring to the hadith about Cain.
Sure. Is
that what you're referring to?
That's a fantastic example. So in the hadith about Cain, right, where it says that there is a share of the burden of the crime that is placed on the first son of Adam, Cain has absolutely nothing to do with the crime. However, there is a share from the burden of the crime that is placed upon him.
Sure. And so
hold on, wait, wait.
You take your time.
I just have a question. Whose burden is placed upon Cain?
So, if that's your question, the Sunni explanation is one of causal responsibility. Cain committed the first murder. By doing so, he established that evil precedent, a sunnah sayyi'ah, right, a bad practice, which subsequent people followed. So Cain, according to this hadith, the person who committed some unaliving in our time, who is responsible for that unaliving, and no part of their responsibility is put onto Cain. However, no part of their responsibility is put onto Cain. They carry all of that responsibility. But in addition to whatever Cain did or didn't do in his life, of burdens he carries, he also carried burden of people who were led down this wrong path due to what he brought into this worldly life of killing, of unaliving.
Whose burden of the crime is placed upon Cain. If you commit an unaliving, unjustified unaliving, you, the person right here, if you commit a unaliving right now,
yes, sir,
whose burden of the crime is placed upon Cain? Whose?
So,
just give me a name.
I've already my name is Jonathan.
Okay, so is Jonathan's burden placed?
I'm making it simple.
Hold on, wait. Is Jonathan's burden placed upon Cain?
No, I've already made that very clear. I thought was that not explicit?
So it says that this is a share from the burden of the crime on the first son of Adam. So there is a burden of the crime that the first son of Adam did not commit. So the burden of the person who does this thing, there's a share of that is placed upon Cain. Whose burden is that?
So as I've already explained, the unaliver themselves, they bear the burden. Look, it doesn't seem like you want to listen, and that's all right. If you just want to be disparaging and condescending,
let me see how. Hold on, I want to see how consistent you are.
Let me chat with you.
I want to see how consistent you are. So does everybody that sins, everybody that is disobedient to God, is there a share of that sin that is placed upon Adam?
No.
How? He was the first person that sinned.
So as I was saying, I don't know if you want to actually have a discussion. It's okay if we disagree, man. We can disagree.
No. Explain it, because he was the first. He was of the first people that was disobedient. So everybody who is disobedient after the example of Adam, right? That sin should also be placed upon Adam, right?
As I said, I don't know if you want to have a discussion or if you don't.
Bro, just answer the question. I'm asking you a question.
I've already answered you the question, and you didn't like my answer.
How is when I'm
your face and you started sighing?
How is when I'm disobedient?
If we can.
When I'm disobedient, how is that not placed upon Adam when Adam was of the first to be disobedient to Allah? So you're saying that the reason as to why it's not somebody else's. Wait, you're saying
it was Adam and Eve from our perspective.
Fantastic. So now there's two people that are getting their burdens. Like, my burden when I'm disobedient to Allah is also placed on Adam and Eve, right? Because I'm following their example. They taught me, right? That causal consequence that you was talking about, right? That's what's happening, right? So we're just being consistent.
I have a question for you. Since you're being consistent, are you done with the Cain Hadith?
No, I'm showing you that what you're saying doesn't even align with the Hadith. Because if that's the case, then the reason as to why you're so terrified to say that every disobedient act also gets placed upon Adam and Eve, which obviously would be ridiculous. There would be no way that they'd be able to be admitted into heaven.
Look, I'm just telling you, again, if you want to make an internal critique, at least
I'm using your Hadith. I'm using your Hadith. Let me
respond to you, man. Let me respond to you, man.
Okay, wait, but I want to make sure that you're responding to the right thing. I'm using your Hadith and your interpretation. Okay, I'm using your Hadith and your interpretation of the Hadith to see if you're going to be consistent with your interpretation.
All right. So my response to you is respectfully, I believe that you're going to be trying to cherry pick and then project a meaning onto a verse. As Muslims, when we read the verse in the Qur'an that says no bearer of burdens shall bear the burden coming from someone else, taking away from their own burden that they were bearing and placed onto you.
It don't say none of that. The verse don't say none of that. The verse don't say none of that.
That is the explanation. So look, that is the understanding of that underlying principle in Islam.
Jonathan, I believe. Hold on, wait, Jonathan.
Yeah.
I believe that there is Islam and what you believe, and then there's what the Quran teaches and what the Quran says. I think that those are two completely different things. You can have your explanation that's not founded or based anywhere in the Quran. That's fine. Don't believe in the Quran. Amen. I'm right behind you. Right? You're coming up with something off the cuff. Best freestyler I've ever seen. I'm talking about what the Quran says and what the Hadith says. And what the Quran say and what the Hadith say is a direct contradiction.
Hey man, look, I respect you. I like a lot of what you're talking usually. But what you're doing right now would be analogous if I go start a live, I get 200 people in there, and I go claim that Jesus is not merciful to humankind and wants to unalive humankind. And I just quote one verse and I keep running with it while leaving every other verse where Jesus teaches is love your neighbor, love your enemy, and everything else he teaches. You wouldn't allow me to cherry pick the Bible like that.
That would be fantastic, right? It would be fantastic.
You wouldn't allow me to do that.
It would be fantastic if there was. It would be fantastic if there was only one verse. You asked me to pull up a verse, but I could pull up chapter 6, verse 164. I could pull up chapter 29. I could pull up chapter 17. I could pull up all of these verses where Allah says the exact same thing. It is not just one verse. If Allah wanted to make himself clear the way that you're trying to make yourself clear, he could have, for he's the best of orators. Right? But instead, time after time again, Allah says very plainly that no person is going to carry the burdens of anybody else. And in chapter 6, verse 164, he makes it abundantly clear, as a matter of fact, and says there is nothing that you do that is not to your own account. That means that when I sit here and I convince somebody to sin, I tempt somebody to sin, or whatever the case, I misguide somebody, that is my sin. And then at the same time, it says that you're going to bear your burden in full. That means everything that I've done, me convincing people to sin, tempting people to sin, misguiding them, and the things that I did on my own, I'm going to bear that in full as well as. As soon as it says as well as, it's done. As soon as it says in addition to, it's over. All of a sudden, I was only going to carry what's mine, and now it's as well as. It's done. That's the contradiction.
Appreciate you, host, but unfortunately you're not correct according to the Islamic paradigm. And what your response is, respectfully, your response is, well, I appreciate that you have your Islamic belief, but it's not Quranic belief. But again, that's the same game I could play with you with love and respect. I could play that game with you.
You're not answering, Jonathan.
I've already answered you. I've literally told you what Islam teaches on that verse. I've literally told you that it says that no bearer of burden shall bear the burden of another, and that I've given you the explanation from Islamic scholars on those other two verses.
You haven't cited a scholar yet.
And by the way, I have 1% left. I want you to get the last word since this is your room.
I'm sure, bro. I don't care about the last word, gang. That's bad enough. Watch it back, bro. It was bad enough. I don't need the last word.